Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks. Our enemies are losing in America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency is winning, and now winning bigger than ever before. In the dark waters of the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most daring direct action missions of the entire crisis unfolded under the cover of night. U.S. Navy SEALs were tasked with a high-stakes raid to seize and neutralize a heavily fortified Iranian oil platform that had been turned into a forward command and drone launch base. This single platform was coordinating mine-laying operations and launching Shahed drones directly at passing oil towns. The mission was clear: storm the platform, eliminate the threat, capture key intelligence, and deny Iran any further use of this strategic outpost. No conventional Marines or Army units were involved. This was a pure Navy SEAL operation from planning to execution. At a forward naval base in the Arabian Gulf, the SEAL platoon gathered inside a dimly lit briefing room aboard the USS John C. Stennis. Lieutenant Commander Ryan Hale stood before a large holographic display showing every detail of the target platform. The 3D model rotated slowly, highlighting guard positions on the upper decks, the central control tower, and the drone launch pads. Commander Hale traced the infiltration routes and laid out the 4 assault teams and their specific objectives. Team 1 would secure the helipad and communications room. Team 2 would clear the drone storage area. Team 3 would take the command tower and capture the officer in charge. Team 4 would provide overwatch. We hit them hard, we hit them fast, and we own that platform before they can send a single distress call, Commander Hale told his men. Every SEAL listened in absolute silence. After the briefing, the operators moved to the armory for final preparation. They donned their dark tactical dry suits, checked rebreathers, and fitted suppressed Mk-18 rifles with night vision optics. Snipers zeroed their suppressed Mk-13 rifles for long-range shots. The mood was calm and focused. On the flight deck, 2 MH-60s Nighthawk helicopters and 4 combatant craft assault boats were already prepped and waiting. The SEALs boarded the rigid-hull inflatable boats in complete silence. The CCA boats slipped away into the black water. At the same time, the 2 MH-60s helicopters lifted off, flying nap of the earth to avoid radar detection. 20 minutes later, the boats approached the massive oil platform. Hand signals only, no words. The first 2 teams fast roped from the hovering Nighthawks onto the upper deck. The boat teams simultaneously climbed the platform legs. Within 90 seconds, all 4 teams were on the platform. The assault was surgical. Suppressed rifles dropped the first perimeter guards before they could react. Flashbangs cleared the drone storage room. Team 3 breached the command tower door and secured the Iranian commander. The entire platform was under SEAL control in under 6 minutes. The remaining guards surrendered without further resistance. While the assault team secured the prisoners, the intelligence specialists went straight to work. They downloaded data from the platform's command computers and seized several encrypted laptops and devices. Combat divers attached limpet mines to the underwater support structure for later controlled demolition. With the objective complete, the exfiltration began. The MH-60S helicopters returned for the operators. The CCA boats pulled alongside to extract the remaining operators. Within minutes, every SEAL was off the platform. Back on the USS John C. Stennis, Commander Ryan Hale received the code word confirming mission success. The Iranian oil platform that had threatened global energy routes was now completely neutralized and under temporary U.S. control. Controlled charges detonated below the waterline, ensuring it could never again be used as a launch pad. The success of this lightning raid sent shockwaves through Iranian command. The message was unmistakable. American special forces could strike anywhere in the Strait of Hormuz at any time with devastating precision. The blockade was crumbling. Commercial oil tankers, which had been waiting for days, began moving again. On the carrier deck, the SEAL platoon gathered quietly, only quiet nods and fist bumps of professionals. Commander Hale looked at his men and said simply, "Platform is done. The lane is opening. Stay ready." The waters of the Strait of Hormuz were beginning to flow freely once more. Freedom of navigation was being restored. Their victory added another chapter to the growing legend of the Navy SEALs, a legend written with speed, skill, and dominance. But Iran never saw what was coming next. In one devastating coordinated strike, American air power would finish the job. American F-35 stealth jets and B-1B Lancer bombers completely wiped out Iran's defenses. The blockade is gone. The operation began with silent intensity at forward U.S. air bases in Bahrain and the UAE. Inside the massive hangars bathed in bright lights, B-1B Lancer bomber crews worked with focused precision. Ground teams used heavy forklifts to load strings of 2,000 lb JDAM bombs into the bombers' rotary launchers. Each massive weapon was carefully locked in, arming wires connected, and safety pins removed only after multiple verifications. The B-1 crews reviewed every target coordinate on glowing screens and climbed into their cockpits. The powerful engines began to spool up with a deep, thunderous growl that vibrated through the entire base. At the very same moment, F-35 stealth jet pilots, led by Lieutenant Sarah Klein, were signing their time cards. They studied detailed target packages, checked weather data, and walked with quiet confidence to their fully armed aircraft. Every F-35 stood ready in the hangar with precision-guided munitions loaded and stealth coatings inspected. One by one, the F-35s taxied out under red nightlights, their sleek shapes vanishing into the darkness like ghosts. Captain James Harlan, the overall mission commander, walked the flight line. His voice was steady and clear. "You own the skies tonight. Make sure the blockade never returns," Harlan told his pilots. 20,000 U.S. Marines and Rangers stood ready for the follow-on phase, but the opening blow would come from the air. The tension was high, but so was the confidence. Everyone knew this strike would change everything. The operation launched with flawless timing. The B-1B Lancers accelerated down the runway into the night sky. Moments later, the F-35 stealth jets launched in total silence, moving like ghosts through the darkness. The two forces converged over the Persian Gulf in perfect coordination, moving as one. At exactly 2, the strike began. The B-1 Lancers released devastating strings of JDAM bombs. The night sky erupted in a rolling chain of explosions as missile launchers and radar sites were obliterated. Fireballs lit up the horizon for miles, the ground shaking from the sheer force of the impact. At the same instant, Lieutenant Sarah Klein's F-35s streaked through the darkness, delivering precision strikes. The Iranian blockade was completely dominated. Launchers collapsed in flames, and radar towers vanished in fireballs. Wave after wave of strikes hammered the enemy. B-1 bombers made repeated supersonic runs. F-35s slipped in undetected, picking off every surviving target with cold precision. The sky belonged entirely to American pilots. Iranian defenses had no answer to the relentless assault, so one by one, the last missile sites guarding the strait fell silent. The once impenetrable blockade was being systematically dismantled from above. While the air campaign continued, the ground phase began. 20,000 U.S. Marines and Rangers surged forward, linking up under the protection of the F-35s and B-1s still dominating the skies above. Chief Petty Officer Marcus Hayes led his teams as Captain James Harlan coordinated the battle from the forward command post. The USS Tripoli provided alternate extra support for logistics and rapid response throughout the operation. By the time the first light of dawn touched the horizon, every Iranian blockade position had been wiped out. The lane was completely open. What had been a heavily fortified choke point was now reduced to smoking rubble. The moment was historic. The first oil tanker sounded its deep and triumphant horn as it sailed through the strait. Dozens more followed, their crews waving toward the American aircraft still circling overhead like silent guardians. Captain James Harlan walked among the victorious troops, shaking hands with Lieutenant Sarah Klein and Chief Hayes. The American flag was raised high over the newly captured positions. A deep sense of pride and relief filled the air. Captain Harlan stood on a high overlook, reflecting on the tremendous effort that brought this victory. Every bomb loaded, every mission card signed, every supersonic run had contributed to this historic success. The F-35 and B-1 crews had performed with exceptional skill and bravery under intense pressure. Their actions will be remembered as the day the strait was finally reopened for good, ending a long crisis. The full force now prepared to return home, carrying with them the knowledge of something truly extraordinary. The Strait of Hormuz, once a place of tension, was now secure and open for global commerce. The pilots and ground troops stood tall, sharing stories of the strikes and laughing at close calls. Families back home would soon hear the news. Their loved ones had helped write a new chapter. Captain James Harlan's voice carried across every radio channel one final time. Mission complete. The skies are ours. The blockade no longer exists. The Strait of Hormuz is fully open. We are coming home. The American flag snapped proudly in the morning breeze. Freedom sails on. If you want to see more intense military operations like this, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications and join the channel so you never miss the next episode. Thanks for watching.